this year we decided that we are going to extend our garden. This is the border here, and we have already started removing the wood that marked the border of our garden. And so we've moved the wood that was here and we put it over here because this is where we want it, going all the way down. We're going to get rid of the grass. We're going to move that fencing right there, and that way we're going to have more room for our garden. We're going to move all this down here and bring it all the way back and have all that square footage that we can use. So my handy hubby is going to come in here and continue to move these wood, and he has his own little rigging system how he's moving them with this tool right here. I think it's pinned onto the wire with a U-nail to keep it in place, so he just removing that, and then he's going to lift it with that tool. He's going to move one of the ends over first, and I'm really glad I don't have to help him with that because those are really heavy. And then he's going to go down to the other end of that and lift it with that tool. He doesn't have to bend too much, he just has to hook it and move it one end and then the other, so it makes it easier to manage. So I'm excited about all that extra growing space. I mean, it's going to be a lot of work just to get it going, but I'm willing to put in that work. Sometimes when you want to achieve something such as having a bigger growing space, you have to sacrifice things, and that sacrifice is going to be my lawn. And you guys already know how I feel about my lawn. It's not important to me. I will have some left when this is all done, and I am willing to give up some of that lawn space so I can grow more food. If you notice, my hubby is wearing this broad belt. We call it a broad belt. I'm not sure what the correct name is, but this is a means of protection for his back because it's very easy to get hurt when doing this type of work, and you just never know. You don't want to wait till you get hurt to do something about it. Right here I have my flowers growing, and these are some peony flowers and hibiscus flowers that are perennials, and they come back every year. It hasn't popped up as yet, but unfortunately I have to remove them. I'm gonna plant them in a different spot, and hopefully that they do okay and pop back up because they're dormant for now. So now we're just gonna remove the wire in here, move those T-posts, and bring them all the way to reach the wood right there, all the way from that end down there all the way to this end, go all the way up to that end, and we're gonna make sure we fence it in. Look at all that space I now have to plant in. And this is what it's looking like here. This is how the grass is removed. It's a lot of manual work, but it's worth it. It's sometimes tedious, and yes, we have to take breaks, but this is it right here, guys. It's worth us doing this work because it'll pay off in the long term. Now this tool right here is what we call a machete. I've seen things that people would call a machete, and it's pretty much a large knife, like a large kitchen knife almost. But this here is a real machete, and if you're from the Caribbean, a machete is a must when you're gardening. Like, it's just a tool of choice. It does so many different things. It has so many different purposes. It comes in pretty handy. I still get excited whenever I see earthworms in my soil, because if there were a natural material in here, these worms wouldn't be in here thriving. So I'm happy to see now that when we are digging, even though this is new grounds that we're going to be planting food on, that we can see that the soil is of good quality. And we're just going to continue to add our natural materials to it. We don't use any chemicals or so, or any type of fertilizer, artificial fertilizer on our lawn. We just sometimes use chicken compost, like let the chickens out sometimes. I have let them out over here before and just let them walk the lawn and do their thing, and that's good natural material for the soil and to give it a little boost. Now we are going to put the wood in place. Make sure it's leveled. So while hubby's doing all that work, I'm here taking out all the perennials that I'm gonna put in a different location. I'm just gonna find a spot somewhere over here because these flowers are some of my favorite flowers and I want to make sure I keep them growing. They're dormant now, but they'll spring back up when it's time for them to do so. So now we're just gonna go ahead and remove the grass pieces from where it was dug up, and it's going to take a while for us to get that done, but we'll take it slowly, take breaks if we need to. We've been finding rocks in there, and this is just a portion that is done, but we have all this amount of grass. We're going to shake out the majority of mud that's still left in the grass pieces, and we'll put them into the outdoor chicken run. So we're just going to take this job one step at a time, and eventually we're going to get done, and we're going to be happy with the outcome of this already, because I'm just excited. And this was a plan, but we knew what we were in for, because it's a lot of work. It's tiring and also tedious, like I mentioned earlier, but little by little we'll get there. A little advice from experience of doing this: turn your back towards that amount of work that you still have to do. See all that? Yeah, make sure your back is facing it. It's tough. Now we are taking the grass clumps to the outdoor chicken run, and the chickens are going to enjoy this because there's grass in it, there's worms, there's bugs, there's seeds. There's all sorts of good fun things in here, so the chickens can scratch around and enjoy it. We normally have sufficient amount of wood ash also, because we spend a great deal of time outdoors and we sit at the fire pit a lot. I have been collecting the wood ash here to add to my garden, and I also use it to add in my chicken run as a dust bath for my chickens. Right here I have some coffee grounds that I'm going to be also adding to my newly prepared garden space, and that's going to be broken down and add nitrogen to the soil over time. I normally collect a 5-gallon bucket of coffee grounds every week, so I've always had sufficient coffee to add, either to my compost, to my berries, to my chicken run, you name it. There's so much different things that you can do with this coffee grounds. So we were able to get about halfway of this extension done, and right here, as you can see, we have some rotted wood chips. Look at it. It's not rotted all the way as yet, but it has broken up quite a bit. Look at that. And we're going to just add this wood chips here, and we're going to add some leaves. Right here we got all these leaves and all this natural material here that we can put there to break down. We have a few more months, so that's what we're going to do. I also have here quite a bit of wood shaving, and look how fine this is. So this is going to break down in less than no time. So I'm going to put that there with all those natural materials. So that's all going to be added to my new garden extension. So we're just going to put this material down. We're going to layer it. We're going to spread this all out. And we're going to layer it with the wood ash right here the coffee grounds, and I have some eggshells I'm gonna throw in there too. This is all natural material. Let me go grab my eggshells and my wood shavings that I have. So now I'm gonna spread this out. I also have some eggshells here. Let me show you. I have some eggshells in here that I've been saving, and this is all for my chickens. And I do also have some more wood ash here in this 5-gallon bucket. It's a little bit over half the amount, and as you can see I have some more in here. So I'm gonna, and there is my wood shaving. Look how fine this is. I'm gonna spread this in my garden, and this will all break down. I'm gonna add some chicken compost to it. The material in my compost pile is already composted and ready to mix and grow my food in. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do. So we're just gonna spread this out. Just gonna pick it around a little bit. This is all my eggshells. And I'm gonna mix it in a little bit. And like I said, I'm not putting this material here thick, and I'm layering it. And now I'm gonna put another layer of coffee ground. And this type of work is not for the faintest of heart. Like, it's a lot of manual, physical work, and it keeps me active, and that's okay. So now this is what the new space looks like. This is the materials in here. We have wood chips, we have dry leaves, eggshells, coffee grounds, wood shaving. Can you tell this was my lawn a few hours ago? No, not at all. This is what, let me come out here and show you. So this is the original garden back there. And this is some of the space here we were able to add to our existing garden. Now this cherry tree is going to be in the middle of my garden, but that's okay. And that's the same exact thing that happened to that peach tree right back there that I planted a few years ago, and I keep extending on my garden, so the trees just end up in the middle of my garden, but that's okay. I can work with that. I'm not going to destroy the roots just to move it. So we're just going to continue tearing this lawn up here and turning it into our garden so we can plant more food. Just doesn't make sense for this lawn to be sitting here, and we can use this space to grow our own food. Look at this. Look how much more room I have to grow. This is just wonderful. So it's not difficult. It's not hard at all. It's just what you're willing to give up, what you're willing to sacrifice. And this lawn is nothing for me to sacrifice. Some people love their lawn, but I'd rather have food that we can eat. It's a means of survival. We can share, we can barter if need be, we can exchange, whatever you want to call it. But this is security right here. This is food security. So this is it, guys. Right here, hubby is just using this tiller to mix everything in, all the materials that we've just put down in here. We're gonna mix everything in, till it up with the soil, and get it to break down, so that way when we're ready to plant this spring, we can go ahead and do so, and our soil will be filled and packed with all the good nutrients that our garden would need, so that our plants and our growth potential, our production will be great. And that's our goal. That's what we aspire to do, and so we're taking steps towards that goal. If you have a large yard with some good square footage of lawn space and you're into gardening, you have the potential to grow your own food. My hope is that this video inspires you to see your potential to do so. It's a little bit of a sacrifice. It's simple, and if that's what you really want, you will get up and make the move towards starting your garden and growing your own food. So we're going to take a break here for today, and we're going to save the rest for another day and finish this up. We still have to move this wire back, move the T-post, and put it all the way back to the wood where the new garden border is. We still have another half of that grass to remove, and I mean, we're still working on it.